Warning, this podcast, website, and associated social media accounts are intended for audiences of legal drinking age. We do not advocate overconsumption or the abuse of alcohol. Never drink and drive, drink responsibly. And please remember to always take what we say with a grain of salt. After all, we are just some dudes with some brews.
We started out by crawling out from under the thumb of the man. The lovers of God with dad bods, just trying to feed our fam. Go sit right there and grab a beer, you know just what to do. Throw it back, get hammered, and listen to Dudes and Brews. So man, had a great time at Frostfest. I want to shout out to Fossil Cove Brewing and to Riley specifically for letting, didn't necessarily invite us, but letting us come out and do some recon, some media, and checking it out. I thought it was great. It was the first brew fest that you'd ever been to.
Yeah, never been to a brew fest.
What'd you think?
It was fun.
Get up on the mic, man. I know it's been a while, but come on, man. It hasn't been that long, has it?
I got mic fright
already.
I got mic fright. So I guess how would I review a beer fest, right? I don't think it's for everybody, but if you are into craft beer, it's for you.
Okay.
Boom. Period.
Yeah.
So at first when we got there, I'm like, oh, it's kind of overwhelming. There's just tons of lines. But then once you start getting into the flow of going from one tent to the next, it's like you just, by the time you finish one taste of beer, you get to try another one. Right. So the ability to try so many beers is amazing, and that's fun. But that's why it's not for everybody, because if you don't love beer, there's not anything else to do but drink beer. Right.
One thing I will say is that I think it was, even though we did this, it's because we started at the tent that was closest to the entrance.
Yeah.
Is why it was probably overwhelming. You're like, oh, all I'm going to do is stand in line. But that's because that's the
very
first
first line, yeah.
And I think that's because everybody goes, oh, this is the first one. Let's jump in line here. Because all those lines right there in the front by the entrance were all really busy. But then once you get out of the entrance, it starts, you know.
Oh, even the busy line didn't take very long. You know what I mean? It was quick to get through it.
No, I mean, I agree. I will say, no. I wanted to ask you. So you go to a lot of festivals in general, even if it's like local arts fest or whatever it may be.
Yeah. How
would you compare this to like your other festivals that you've been to? Do you think there should be more vendors? Like how would you compare it?
So I think it needs more games. You know what I mean? Competition. You know what I mean?
So kind of like
that's it. Just bring some competition in.
So like when I've gone to like Oktoberfest, I've seen them do like Stein holding.
Yeah,
I mean,
that kind of stuff
even if there's
fun.
just like 2 or 3 competitions. I think when they do it in Sherman, they do like a fiddle competition or something silly. I don't know.
Yeah, fiddle competition. It was the McKinney one we went to that had the Oktoberfest, and they had like, I don't even know if it was a competition, but they had fiddlers.
Okay, just like the band.
Yeah,
or something.
they had music and stuff like that. So this one actually did have music, but we never made it to the music till 5 minutes before it was over. It was like that's how long it took us to get through it all. There's so many beers.
Well, like one thing I will say is that the music was in a tent all by itself.
Right. That was weird.
I don't like that.
Yeah, you should have been able to see and hear the music from wherever. You know what I mean? A giant stage with the booths around it. But it was Frostfest, so they were expecting it to freeze and to have like a safe haven.
I mean, I kind of get it. So if we actually talk about the weather, how did you think it was?
I think the weather contributed to it. It made it good.
Oh, you think
Because,
so?
dude, when else are you going to go outside and drink in the cold?
That's true.
It kind of forced us into a different environment. And maybe because we're Texans and it's always hot here that I didn't mind it. I'm like, just put a couple layers on and it's perfect. And then make sure you got gloves. Remember, I gave you one glove. So I had the left glove. You had the right one. Got one glove, you're good.
Right. It was those grippers. It's like whatever kind of grip was on those gloves, it made it to where you couldn't drop the beer. It made me think of gosh dang, I forget his name, but did you ever see the movie The Replacements? You know, they put
Keanu Reeves.
Stick them on their hands, and that black dude was trying to get the cup off his hand.
Oh, and then he sticks to his chest?
Yeah.
He was like running out there, and he's like, yeah.
That's exactly what it felt like.
That's
like
what those gloves were.
Let go of it. Yeah.
I could have sold those to people. If I had a whole cart of those, people would have bought them.
Right.
Like they're guaranteed to hold your glass and keep your hands warm from the cold glass.
So before we get, we're already pretty far into it, but let's crack open this beer before it gets too warm. I needed to pick up beer today, and I wanted beer that tastes like beer because I'm tired of like super sweet stuff.
Yeah.
So I got this specifically because it says it's a porter that tastes like a porter.
Where does it say that?
Right there on the front. Can you not see it?
I literally did not even read that. I stopped at regular Jesus. So there's a lot going on with this beer. First of all, the label, look at how it's brown with bold words. And it's just bold lettering, brown label, subtitle. A lot going on here.
I like how you call it a subtitle.
Yeah. So it's ironic because there's nothing going on here, but at the same time, there's a lot going on here.
There's so much, yet so little.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to have to figure out what's the story behind this beer. First of all, where is it Duluth? It's the beer company?
I think that's a...
DuClaw.
A pants company.
Yeah, my
Duluth
bad.
Trading, right?
My bad. Duluth Trading.
Fight bears in your pants and you're good, right? Isn't that what they do in like their dumb commercials?
I've never seen a commercial for it.
Oh, man, do they have the best commercials? You really don't know Duluth Trading Company like commercials?
No.
Their commercials are the best. Well,
I
wouldn't say
commercials. I haven't
like
seen
ads.
a commercial in forever.
You don't get like ads on YouTube or something?
I skip those, dude. I might watch 3 seconds until it lets me.
Oh man, some of them, if it catches me in those 3 seconds,
you're sold.
I might watch it. Like I've seen a lot of those, like what are they, like Sasquatch soap?
Yeah,
I've seen those, and I'm like, this is funny. I'm gonna keep watching it for a second. So maybe they get another like 15 or 20 seconds out of me.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I might see the ad and be like, oh yeah, I have actually seen this.
Yeah, you might have, but
you're pulling up DuClaw, not Duluth.
Yeah, because you were asking about it.
So DuClaw, where is it located? What's their story? You know?
I don't know.
It's in Baltimore, Maryland.
Okay.
I found out. Look, I'm quicker than you over here, dude.
What is interesting is that they have an American porter that they call Sweet Baby Jesus.
Okay.
This isn't the Sweet Baby Jesus.
This is the regular Jesus.
This is the regular Jesus.
So that's probably like a sweetened version. It's 33 IBUs. 6.3. That one's 6.2. So it's weird that one's sweet and this one's regular. You would think sweeter have higher alcohol.
I wonder if it's sweeter or if it's just that they updated the name or something. Mm-hmm. I see Sweet Baby Banana. Maybe Sweet Baby's like a theme that they have going on.
Maryland brewery established in 96. Brewing what we like. I don't think we've had a beer out of Baltimore.
The only one that I've had, and we need to review it on the show, is the one that Guinness brought their. They did a brewery in the States, and they did a blonde out of theirs, and they have the first time they brought their beer to the States, or a brewery to the States, was in Baltimore.
All right, regular Jesus, our famous Sweet Baby Jesus. Now regular, stripped down porter with no adjuncts to focus on the purity of the beer style. All right, tell us about that. What is that saying, Joe?
So if you look here, it says the Sweet Baby Jesus is chocolate peanut butter porter.
Okay.
Take out the chocolate peanut butter, you got the regular Jesus.
So that's when it says adjunct, what is it talking about?
The chocolate and peanut butter. So like any additional like flavored, like a 903 does a lot of adjuncts. They do fruit, they do like weird stuff outside of the base beer style.
Okay, cool.
Anything that you would say to like add additional flavor outside of your 4 main ingredients, outside of water, malt, hops, and yeast, anything outside of that would be considered an adjunct. Gotcha.
Nice. I'm liking it. I like it that it is a beer that tastes like beer. And it's nice that it's actually, I know you were denying the warmth of it, but it is a little warm, but I like it.
I mean, it's not like ice cold.
Right.
Do you think a porter needs to be ice cold?
In the summer, yeah. In the summer, ice cold. In the winter, a little warm. Like, not room temperature, though.
So, like, is this too warm?
No, this is good. This is solid. That was my point. Is like I can get behind this.
Okay. I'm glad the temperature worked out. Not that I meant to do that. I actually put it in the freezer before you got here to try to get it cold because I'm like, Larry's going to say something about this being warm. I know he is.
Hey, but I'm giving it a compliment. And look, the warmth from that little bit of freezer that you gave it was just enough to hit it right in that sweet spot. So this is good.
I like that they say it's just the purity of the beer style itself.
Yeah. Just a
for
regular
when you just
old
want
porter.
a regular porter.
When you want a porter that tastes like a porter. Nice. So where'd you get this from?
I think I was at like Total Wine & More. I had to go to
Because I would pick up is it 4-pack or 6-pack?
6-pack.
I'd pick up a 6-pack of this.
Yeah.
Nice. I love a porter that comes in a 6-pack as opposed to a 4 because you always want those extra 2.
Always. I mean, honestly, it's one of those. A lot of people are doing 4-packs nowadays, and I don't know why. Maybe it's to try to keep prices down. I think it's because people are buying them, and they're like, "Why not sell them less beer?" That's me. I'm a conspiracy guy over here, but pardon me. This is one that I think is great. Now that I understand the name of the beer, I'm not mad at it. At first, I was like, "You're calling Jesus regular right now? Come on!"
But I think the Sweet Baby Jesus is an Elvis thing, right? Sweet Baby Jesus, and that's why it's got the peanut butter and the chocolate.
I did not know that. I just assumed that was just a term that people say.
Yeah.
Just like a saying of some kind. I didn't know that Elvis coined it.
Either that or it's funny you said regular Jesus versus Sweet Baby. I'm also thinking of the Talladega Nights, where he's like, I like my Jesus to be a little baby Jesus. You know what I'm talking about? The scene? Okay. Versus the regular Jesus. So.
No, it's when they're sitting around the dinner table.
Right.
Dear Sweet Baby Jesus.
And he's like, I like mine to have a tuxedo shirt. That's one of the greatest scenes in that movie.
That way you know that he's a little formal, but you know he likes to party, too.
Right. Gosh, it's hilarious.
It makes me think of there's a video of it's an old video of this guy having a prayer. He's saying a prayer at the beginning of a NASCAR race. Have you seen this?
And it's legit? He's like acting like Talladega Nights?
No, he's not acting like Talladega Nights. He's acting like this guy. He is genuine.
A pastor. He is an actual pastor. Okay.
He is as genuine as you get.
All right, let's see it.
This is old. I can't believe you haven't seen this.
No, I have never seen it, but I like it already. Look at him. Okay.
Let me see if I can get this loaded up here for us. It's pretty legit.
Yes.
Heavenly Father, we thank you tonight for all your blessings. You said in all things give thanks. So we want to thank you tonight for these mighty machines that you brought before us.
Nice. Oh, man, he's doing a product placement.
Listen to me.
This dude's like a NASCAR driver himself. He's got advertisements all over his pastoral jacket. No way. Yes. This man loves NASCAR. Hey, man.
Like why he says boogity boogity boogity.
I don't know why either. He went too far with that boogity boogity. But props to him. The smoking hot wife, that came out of nowhere. It was like he was just in the moment and was just so grateful and was praising the Lord. And it was like also, thinking about my wife.
He seemed like the perfect guy that would say something about Sweet Baby Jesus.
Yeah.
Even though he didn't say it, for some reason I thought he did.
No, he was being genuine. The Sweet Baby Jesus thing is come on now. But this is genuine. This guy means it. Even though he's doing product placement, he loves NASCAR.
Thank you for the Toyotas and the Dodges and the
He started thinking about it. He's like, if it wasn't for that company, then we wouldn't have this motor. And then we wouldn't have this body style. As he was praying, he was thinking through why he's so grateful for each of these companies.
Right.
Either that or he's paid. He's paid off.
I'm sure he's paid. That's what it makes me think of now.
Yeah. That's hilarious. So, anyways, yeah. Regular Jesus beer, fantastic. It would be cool if it just said the word Jesus. Like, imagine a beer that just said Jesus.
I mean,
Period.
I
it does
will
have
say,
the period at the end.
Jesus did. I mean, because it said Jesus, it caught my eye.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, it did. Now that I know a little bit more about it, but it also caught my eye that it says it's a porter that tastes like a porter. I said, good. We like beer that tastes like beer.
Right.
So let's go ahead and go with it. So traditional Dudes and Brews fashion, we like to rank our beers. What would you rank this at a scale of 1 to 5 here, buddy?
Right now, I'm giving this one a 4.5. It's nice.
You know, I'm thinking a 4.5 sounds perfect. So
It's been
let's
a while
go ahead.
since I've had a porter. It's hitting. I'm enjoying it.
I mean, recently you were like, hey, I think you even said it at Frostfest. You were like, oh man, I wish somebody had a porter.
Did we find a porter while we were there? I don't think we did.
I mean,
maybe one, and maybe it was like really sugary because I think I didn't go back for a second one.
You did have a porter because I remember looking at it in the sun.
You're right.
And going, this is not the right color of a porter.
Yeah, you were questioning it.
You were a little
that. Sus on whether it was a porter or
I was
not.
going a little inside baseball, I will admit, and that's okay. But
okay.
It was yes, I do remember that now.
Yeah.
I don't remember it blowing my hair back, so it must not have been great. I mean, it must have been okay, but
They got a regular beer. Did you see? I saw a picture of one that just said regular beer. Beer that tastes like beer. Look at that label, though. That is awesome. That label is like sitcom dad beer.
maybe we can get behind these guys pretty
I can get
hard.
behind them.
Like it's a lager.
Yeah. Nice.
I mean, that's
Coming in at 4.9. A
it's
beer that tastes like beer.
to me, it's a little high.
There's a low key. I am totally getting TV beer vibes out of this. Like the designs, they're all TV beers. Those pictures aren't doing it justice. The pictures that I saw on that page, there's a regular beer one. That one's TV beer. But I saw one that said like key something that looked like a TV beer. Yeah, go back to that picture. You can just go back, maybe. Yeah, look at that low key. Look, that looks like another TV beer. You know what I mean? That's a sitcom dad.
Where they're trying to have like a very nondescript label.
Yeah.
They're not trying to do product placement. They're just trying to let you know that someone's drinking a beer.
Yeah.
So it
They're
says
saying this
beer.
is beer. Yeah. Low key. Wheat ale.
So that's what you mean by saying that that they're getting in on it. Cool. So if you do see the regular Jesus, check it out. DuClaw Brewing Company, Baltimore. 6.3, not too high in ABV. I don't know that I'd want more than that. I think it's just right in my opinion.
Very
but
tasty.
Yeah. So back to Frostfest. I agree with you on the weather.
You were feeling it?
Yeah, because in Texas, everything is hot.
Yeah. That same festival in the heat would not be fun.
Not in 110-degree heat. I mean,
No,
like, because
I wouldn't enjoy it.
We have very small windows for good weather in Texas, I would say.
Yeah.
Unless you're out on the lake. If you're not on the lake, you have very small windows for good weather. I would say like there's like a month in the spring, like a month in the fall. Outside of that, it's either hot or we're having a snowstorm, which even the snowstorm doesn't last very long. But
yeah.
So yes, I do agree. The weather was great. The only thing that I did not like is that it was after a freeze, which means it was muddy everywhere.
Yeah. I don't mind, though. I didn't mind that. If it was my yard and all these people were walking in my yard, it'd be different. But, yeah. I mean, it was a little muddy. You needed some mud boots, but we managed to come out clean.
Yes, but like, so, and this would have been an extra expense on the event, but like, have you ever been to, like, I went to a festival, to a concert festival, music festival once, and it was at the Dallas, wherever they play soccer in Frisco.
Oh, yeah. Been to Edgefest used to be there every year.
Right.
And it was
do you
like
know
the
how the
soccer
floor
stadium.
was, though?
They have like that
some
plastic stuff they put on it. Yeah, they do that to protect the grass, though.
Okay, they should have. I personally would have been like, that would have been great if you have that in the grounds for the beer festival.
Dude, that would have been so slippery. The second your shoes get wet on that, you're slipping around.
So you're telling me that you're in a mosh pit,
Right.
sweating, beer falling all over the place, you're good to go. But as soon as the music stops...
No, I've been in mosh pits at that stadium that you're talking about, and it was a slip and slide because beer was and liquids were spilled and thrown, and then people were falling left and right. So it would have been totally muddy. It would have been slippery. It wasn't that bad. I mean, they threw some rocks. They had a rock parking lot. It was good.
It wasn't bad. In retrospect, I wish I would have known because I would have brought different shoes. In the end, it was okay. It wasn't bad. Like, I'm not saying like it ruined anything. It definitely didn't.
No.
Like, unless I was knee deep, I don't think it would have ruined anything.
Mm-mm.
Like, unless I lost my shoes, I don't think it would have ruined anything. It was just unfortunate.
Yeah.
Not ideal, but then again, when you have a festival, especially when it's outdoors, it's hard to get ideal conditions.
Right. Yeah.
So the biggest thing that I liked was in Texas, you usually have to pay for your pours, meaning your ticket will come with, say, 8 pours, and you can buy additional pours. But I think the TABC, like the Texas Alcohol Bureau of Scumbags, I don't know what it stands for, but I feel like they put limits on stuff and don't allow you to have more than, I want to say, like 8 or 10.
They're putting limits on fun. They're putting limits on fun.
That is exactly it.
That's what they're doing.
They're like the fun police.
Yeah.
Get out of here with that garbage, man.
Yeah. And dude, if they would have put limits on it, then we wouldn't have been able to try so many. So I like that they were tiny pours and that you just go to the next one. If we had to stop at 8, I'd be like, it wouldn't be fun at all. And it wouldn't be like, I wouldn't know which ones to pick.
Right. And so, like, they've always done the tiny pours. Even when I go to, like, the ones here in Texas, it still does 4 to 6 ounce pours. Yeah, but they limit it to a certain extent. Now, granted, I mean, how much are these guys, like, really checking it off every time? Like, sometimes they're lazy about it, but technically they're supposed to. I liked that they had 58 breweries, and we could go out there like Pokemon and try to catch them all.
Yeah, we tried. We tried to catch them all. We made it from one side to the other. And then we got like maybe one beer from each one we stopped at. Some of them we went back to the same line twice. So shout out to whoever those breweries are that won us over to go back in a line. But then we didn't stop at every one. We stopped at every one that was either convenient or that we were really interested in.
Right.
So we'll be like, this one, forget it. Oh, this one is cool. I'll wait in line for this one. Or this one has no line. And all of them that had like no branding, you notice how they didn't have lines usually?
Right.
It's funny how much branding really works, and we would go there, and they would just have, like, a cooler. And, yeah.
So that is one thing that I'm glad that you mentioned this, because I wanted to ask you, because you're real big on, like, branding. Yeah. Real big on, like, when you go to a beer store, if the can catches your eye, like, you're going to go for it. Regardless what the beer is, if it catches your eye, you're more inclined to purchase it.
Right.
So how do you think that some of these guys did? Because I thought that, like, Fossil Cove specifically, their setup was awesome.
Their branding
had, like, the
is
lights
legit.
And whatnot.
Yeah, Fossil Cove, their branding is legit though, with their Fred Flintstone vibes that they're trying to give you. Their Bonnie Rubbles. Some of the other ones really cool too. So those are the memorable ones, right? Those are the only ones I remember. The ones that were really cool. There was one in Austin that stood out to me. One because of the beer. Remember, it was my number 1 beer pick. I'm sure you wanted to talk about that, so I'll wait to talk about the number 1 beer pick. But also, they had some vibes going on. You know what I mean? They had the tiki vibes and the swimming pool. I could tell you ain't feeling it, but I was feeling it.
No, I mean, it's Blue Owl. I know the brewery
Blue
because
Owl,
they do. I think they only do sour beers.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's legit. That's all I've ever had from them is sour beers.
And I normally don't like sour beers.
And you had like a sour IPA, right?
It was a milkshake. I had 2. Remember, I had the pickle one too.
Didn't you have it wasn't a sour milkshake IPA?
Yeah. It was sour. That's the picture right there.
Oh, this is it right here?
Just zoom in. Let's just look at it. So I'm just going to go ahead and call it out and say what my number 1 beer was. That is not it, actually.
I don't know if you took a picture of that one.
Oops. I did take a picture of it.
Did you take a picture of their beer board, though?
Yeah, I did.
Let me see if I can find it here. Because I know you took a picture of the guy, the tiki guy. Yeah. So, like, this is the thing, is that what breweries stood out to you? I know
Fossil Cove definitely did.
Their branding was phenomenal.
Yeah.
There were a few that I went to just because I knew who they were. And it, like, for instance, like, I'm going to give a shout out to him always because he was so gracious when I went to just visit and he did an interview with me. I got to give a shout out to Dan the Man at Norton's Brewing Company. That was the first one that we stopped at.
Norton's was awesome. Their branding's on point, and they're the ones, they had these little roasted marshmallow drinks. Everybody had one of those. That was the first place we went to.
Right. I thought it was cool. I liked the idea. This beer was great. It was a little sweet, but that's what you get when it's like 13%.
And they throw a marshmallow in it. They throw a roasted marshmallow in it.
Roasted
Sweet.
on site.
Right.
He roasted it right there in front of
Right.
you. It's like tableside service.
Yeah.
It's great.
They had a little flame. I didn't even see it get roasted. They had a little flame and they just torched
Yeah,
it.
like something small. Like you get those little butane things with a little torch on the end. I don't know what you would use to like heat coals.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, something
They
similar to
just
that.
heated it up right there in your hands.
Yeah.
There's one picture.
Yeah, this
of the
is
Blue
it right
Owl,
here.
But no, I got a picture of their board. Maybe the next picture.
I don't
Where did
recall
it-
you getting
What? Ooh, that place is really cool. I really liked their
The,
branding
rendezvous?
with the rendezvous, the rail yard vibes. Yeah.
There are two specific that stood out to
Okay.
me. Outside of the people that I already like we're semi-familiar with.
Yep.
It was the Soul. Gosh dang, I'd have to see. Let me see. I think they're the one that it was like something Soul,
All right.
where it had where it was music themed.
Oh yeah, it was from Memphis, right? It was like their Memphis brewery. That was cool. I liked what they had to offer.
I liked the theme and the beer was good.
I guess I didn't send it to you.
I really wish that I would have. Gosh dang, we were too much in
That's
the
it.
moment. We were too much in the moment and not taking enough photos so we could remember this later.
I know. But look, I did take this picture because I knew it was my number one. Right there at the top, zoom in, boom. The milkshake sour IPA with pineapple and coconut. So, dude, this tastes like the beach. That is a beach drink. It was so good. That's all I got to say about
So
it.
put a little vodka in it and you got yourself a cocktail.
I don't even think you need to. I think it's a cocktail in itself. It's a sour IPA. And then I also had the pickle one at the bottom was pretty good. I had to go back. Because that top one was so good, I was like, I got to try something else. And you know me, I'm not a sour guy. That was good, though. Number one beer there.
I'm looking at this and I don't remember what I had here. I didn't try the IPA. I said sour stout sounds awful. I'm sure I tried this sour
Imperial Stout. Whew.
I'm sure I tried this sour cherry because I said I really like
You did.
cherry sour like candies. I'm sure I tried it. Obviously, it didn't blow my hair back. It was good. Honestly, I don't think I tried anything that was bad.
They didn't have anything on tap. I just noticed that. It was all cans. They were just pouring cans. I think it's the only place that did that.
Celestial did that too. There's a couple of them that did that. It just kind of depends on what their setup was.
Seems like a lot, like to travel that much beer, packaged beer with you over there.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what kind of vibe or what you have available. I don't know if this is something where like they hit them up last minute and they're like, cool, what do we have in multitude that we can just go give away today? Versus, hey, let's plan something. Well, let's plan for this. I'm sure that the people that brought out cans just didn't have kegs available. I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't have brought cans, or maybe they didn't have gosh, what do they call those jockey boxes available to be able to serve beer?
Right.
Because do you know how those jockey boxes work?
Absolutely not. When you said jockey box, I just said right. I said, oh, right, jockey box. And then you called me out on it.
Okay, so...
Thanks, bro. You're like, wait, so you have no idea what a jockey box is?
Well, so
right, let's see
I want to get one of these. I don't know why. It's not like I have huge
beer.
parties.
I guess context clues says it's the thing they're serving beer out of.
Right.
Yeah,
so
I know what it
basically, it's a cooler
Yep.
that has coils in it. You dump ice inside of it.
And it cools it before it pours.
Yeah. So you have like 15 feet of coil. Mm-hmm. So that now this isn't a good representation. Like it would be more.
That
like,
one's like you put ice in it or something.
You would.
Yeah, that one you could just.
So it's
put
more like
ice
this,
instead
where
of
you would have like all
coils,
these coils, and you put the ice on top of these coils, so it keeps the coils cold. So when the beer comes in for the beers at room
Yeah.
temperature, It comes in, it cools down before it comes out of the tap.
Yeah, nice.
So that's what a lot of these guys had. Some of them had like fancy boxes on the outside to make it look cool.
Yeah.
Otherwise, this is basically the setup, which, I mean, this is what we use when we do like beer camp with the club.
Yeah.
Very similar things. Sometimes they'll do plate chillers where it's a plate and it's got a bunch of copper tube inside that plate. Same exact idea.
Yeah.
Just pour ice over it. It keeps it cold. You keep it in the cooler, obviously, so it stays colder longer. But yeah, this is good for like parties if you're serving like multiple kegs.
Instead of the trash can.
Yeah, I mean,
you ever seen the old trash can ones? That's what the college kids use.
Those are fine. Those are fine if you're
fine.
serving one. If you're only serving one beer, that's great.
Yeah,
it keeps the beer cold. You're able to drink it. This is what you use if you're serving more than one beer.
Yeah.
Like, literally, this is only good for more than one beer.
This is what you use if you're actually, like, into craft beer, as opposed to you got a keg of Miller Lite and you're taking it to a keg party. That's the people that use the trash can.
So I would agree, but I would also go, dude, there was some beer that we had out there that was just straight lagers that I think
Was it in a trash can?
No, they weren't in trash cans, but what I'm getting at is that, like, it sounded, now, maybe you were dogging more the person than you were dogging the beer. But I go, like, there were some really good lagers that we had out there. I think Bike Pump or Bike Rack, I think, had a really good lager. And I'm like, this is just a really light lager that I would love to actually, honestly, have some maybe on a pit stop at a trail.
Yeah.
Like, if we're bike packing or something, take a pit stop, drink one of these lagers.
Yeah. No, dude, I was just giving you a hard time, honestly. I honestly, a lot of the beer we had could have been out of a trash can. I didn't even notice. You know what I mean? I wasn't even paying attention to their setup. I was just like, oh, what you got? Oh, okay, what do we got? You know, I was making decisions.
But were the decisions based on branding? Because I think that the setup had a little bit to do with branding.
If it caught my attention and I was curious about the brewery itself, yes. Otherwise, if they didn't have a line, I went there. I'm like, okay, okay, nice to meet you guys. You know, finishing my beer. Oh, let me come right over here real quick, see what this guy's got.
Okay.
So a little bit of both. But then when I was standing back looking at the different breweries, I'm like, this brewery looks cool. Where y'all from? What is y'all's beer? So there was kind of two different vibes going on there.
Right. So it sounds like the biggest thing that I learned from this is we need to go to the mountain bike capital of the world.
Bentonville. 100%, dude. We got to go. I've been wanting to go anyways. But yeah, I'm going to send you this documentary and make you watch it. Bentonville. No, it's I think it's yeah, you'll see it corrected. That's not how you spell it. It's O-N-D. But yeah, it's the Walmart capital. Yeah, look at it right there. Birthplace of Walmart, Bentonville, Arkansas. It's a beautiful
city. But you
city.
said it's that you know it specifically because of all of the bike trails they have available. Is that right?
Well, because I heard about it, right? Everybody around here knows about it. It's like the place that, like, hey, we're doing a Bentonville trip this weekend. So I would see that on Facebook mountain bike pages. So then I searched on YouTube Bentonville, and then I found this documentary. And when I watched that documentary, a lot of the trails and the clips that they showed, I see on Instagram mountain bike videos. I'm like, oh, I'm familiar with these features on this trail and stuff. Or even in town, some of it's like they got this wobbly like looking bridge that's pretty beast. So yeah, but that documentary explains why it's the mountain biking capital of the world. So
okay.
It's got history.
So it's only 4.5 hours away.
Yeah.
It's just about as the same distance from here to Austin. So, like, I know you like to go to Austin on vacation. You should go, hey, wife, why don't we go to Bentonville instead?
I've already said it. We're already doing it. The problem is I just got into mountain biking this last year, so I just haven't done it yet. You know what I mean? I want to, though, really bad. So, and it's beautiful there. I mean, the city's nice. It's a nice town. The trails, like the video that I saw, the guy who made the documentary, what he did was he went there and he hung out with a group of mountain bikers. And in the morning, they started at this like bike cafe and had breakfast in downtown Bentonville. And then you can see like all of the businesses are all like bike themed. So it's funny, we found the place Bike Rack, and it's a bike themed brewery. And they're all bike themed, and then they all like have bike places to park your bike outside, where everybody that's there is a mountain biker.
Right.
So they go there, they're all drinking their coffee, and then they just leave the business and hit the trails right in town, and you can just ride out anywhere from town.
That's what I think. That's what the guy was telling us. So shout out to Brock at.
You remember his name? Shout out.
Yeah. So shout out to Brock there at Bike Rack. I remember him telling us that. Literally, like it sounded like a like downtown Swearies. Like there's like 25.
It literally is.
There's like 25, 30 trails that just start there and head out. So you can go for novice to beginners to experienced to intermediate. Doesn't matter what. And so yeah, I would love to try it. I say that never mountain biked before. I mean, I've ridden a bicycle. But never done mountain biking.
So when you used to ride bikes as a kid, did you ever hit little dirt jumps?
Like maybe small ones, but I never had I always had a BMX style bike. So I never had one with gears and stuff. I don't know how those things work. Low gears or uphill or something. I don't know. I don't know how it works. I'd have to learn the gears.
There is a little bit
first.
of science to it. But I know we need to go. And we were going to go when we got back. I was going to invite you, but I haven't ridden since I've been back.
Yeah.
Because it's the weather.
Yeah.
There was one day that it was nice, and I thought that it wasn't going to be nice, and then I didn't ride, and I'm like, I missed my opportunity. So I haven't ridden in like literally a couple weeks now. But long story short, that's why I haven't went yet. It's just simply because I just got into mountain biking like back in April, and I discovered Bentonville 5-6 months later, and then now to your point, I realized we're not that far off. We should go.
Like
it's legit.
It's going to happen during the summer. I mean, we just take our Friday and a Monday off and go. If that means get a hotel, if that means camp, whatever it means, it's not very far.
It's not.
So why not just make a long weekend out of it and just enjoy the time?
Right.
I just like getting out. Even if I'm slowing your ass down.
No, you can go slow.
Me.
Yeah,
okay.
No, you can go slow. Not any lapping. Usually there's no circling back, hitting a lap.
Oh, so like, because like I can only compare it to like hiking trails. It's a similar trail. Obviously, it's made for mountain biking versus hiking trail, but they do trails that are in and out, which means you go to a destination, you turn around and come back, or they do loops.
Right.
Are there not a lot of loops?
It's
biking?
loops. Yeah, no, it's all the trails I've ridden are loops, but I usually don't ride them twice.
Oh, so they're long enough where it's like, hey, I'm done. I'm back to the parking. I don't want to do this.
Yeah, like at minimum, the smallest trail that I normally ride is like an hour ride. Okay. So it'd be like a whole another hour. Well, no, the one in Denison I can do in like 45 minutes, and I do that one twice sometimes, like an hour and a half.
You're referring to like Waterloo?
Waterloo. That one's like 45 minutes.
Okay.
But you could easily take an hour.
Right.
And it'll kill you if you're not like, if you're not really used to riding, you'll be dead at the end of that hour.
I'm sure it sounds like that way anyway for you. You're like, I ride because you've gotten better at it.
Right. I
don't know if you're considered good or great. I don't know how to compare anything.
I wouldn't say good or great. I'd say that I can ride.
Okay.
I would never tell somebody, oh, I'm a good mountain biker. Okay. Because, no, I'm not a good. I mean, I don't wreck as much as I used to. So maybe that's what makes me good, like fair.
Well, I don't know. I mean, like the first thing that comes to my mind, it goes wrecking and like how fast can you go without wrecking?
Are you ripping? Yes.
Like I can probably do any trail that you want me to and never wreck. That doesn't mean I'm good at it. That just means I'm going slow.
I don't know if you could. Because even the features, if you go too slow, you'll wreck. If you just get scared, you'll wreck. Like there's crazy features that normally don't look like a big deal until you're sitting on top of a bike. And then you're trying to navigate down it. And it's a very mental sport where you have to be mentally ready to do something. If you kind of second guess yourself, you could easily wreck. Happens all the time. I rarely wreck from being full on confident. It's always whenever I start, like I get scared or doubt, and then I end up wrecking.
This is the reason why I never got into this sport. I don't, even as a kid, like I always enjoyed like watching extreme sports, be it skateboarding or BMX, whatever it was. But I was always like a little bitch, to be honest. I didn't like getting hurt.
Well, the good thing about...
it does... I think me breaking my arms playing at the playground, Like I broke
Yeah,
each
yeah.
arm just doing regular playground activities. Like I think that
Yeah,
scared
yeah.
me to going, I don't want to experience that kind of pain.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the reason why I didn't do it. But no, I'm like, I could understand why I'd be like terrified to go down like this hill. And if you don't go down this hill right because you got a narrow trail, you could fall off
Right.
this cliff or whatever, or fall off this hill or whatever it may be.
Yeah. So what I'll say is you can get good enough to where you don't wreck that much, and if you do wreck, you don't really get hurt. But like there's a lot of people that I see riding on the trails that are old, or even like older women, and they're not trying to rip, they're not trying to send it, so they can do a nice ride, and they've been doing it long enough. But dude, there's groups.
Sounds
of
like
old
Larry's
women.
trying to send it, brother.
Dude, I try to send it. That's my problem. I try to send it, and I try to push myself, and then I'll be like, "Oh no, what am I doing?" Ah! So yeah, I try to send it.
Okay.
So I have gotten. I'm not so amateur that I don't like try to hit features. Like I try to hit some good features.
Okay, now,
But, yeah.
again, this is going to make me sound like a complete idiot
Yeah.
to all you bikers out there. What the hell's a feature?
A feature is like anything. It could be like it could be something that's man-made or something that's natural. But like think about it as like, oh, we're gonna have this drop where you ride off this ledge and you drop into this. You know, that could be a feature. It could be a berm where it's just like built up dirt and you hit it at a good speed and go around it.
And a
That'd be a
berm
feature.
is a turn.
Yeah.
Like a fancy name for a turn. Like, is this considered a berm right here?
Yeah, it'd be like a man-made berm. Yeah, that's a berm. I thought it was a man-made berm, but that's just a pen. Or it's just like Apple Pencil drew that in. But yeah, that's a berm right there. So I guess that would be a feature. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Okay.
So normally you ride, you might just take the inside lane and just kind of cozy through there. I see that and I'll be like, okay, the more that I ride this trail, I'm trying to get sideways on that thing and go full speed. You know, that's where it gets more fun. Because the more that you get comfortable with the trail or you start getting comfortable with your skills, you start pushing it and having fun.
Okay. So it sounds like something like this, it allows you, because it makes me think of, we're going back to NASCAR here for a second.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the difference in going.
We're going back to NASCAR. I was thinking, when
Slow.
were we at NASCAR? Is that the pastor?
Come on, the prayer.
Okay, the prayer.
He's like where he goes, where you can go slow around the inside, or
Right.
you go fast and you go around the outside, and literally those cars are like almost
Yeah, exactly.
up on the side.
Yeah, it's the same idea. Yeah, you just, I don't know the science behind it. Is it centrifugal force or something? I don't know. It's definitely
that makes
force
sense.
pushes into the ground, and then you're kind of setting the bike in a position to take it fast. But
And-
I mean, all these pictures are different types of features, though.
Right. Okay. So it does seem like you would have to go a certain speed, otherwise it's like you're just falling over, just falling on the side. If you don't take a certain kind of speed on these, you call it a berm?
Yeah, a berm.
Okay.
Yeah, it could be it's speed. It could also be that you're not leaning enough and you could wreck. You know what I mean? You could just ride off the top
Right.
of it. And,
Right.
You know, it doesn't mean like you can wreck from anything.
Okay. So
I'm
it sounds
gonna
like,
take you, dude. We're gonna ride for 100%.
it sounds like I need to start slow. I need to start
100%.
on the bunny trails,
We'll
as
start
they
small.
say for like
We'll
skiing,
start,
right?
here Waterloo and Denison. That one's pretty small. Or it's got some features, but you can take everything good. You can take
Okay.
it easy.
So honestly, I'm down to just try it out. I will try anything once for the most part. I shouldn't say anything.
I
But
think you'll love it though.
for the most part, I'll try anything at least once. And if it gets us to go on, because I'm all about just being out in nature,
Yeah.
be it hiking or biking or whatever it is. Even when I was just riding a bike on the street, I enjoyed it.
That's why I think you'll love it. It gets you outside. It gets you in the woods. You love hiking. I mean, if you love hiking, it's like mountain biking is just hiking faster.
I mean, there's a thing that people do called bike packing.
Yes.
Where literally they just go on like a long distance like bike rides.
Yes.
With their gear, and they'll stop and they'll camp, and then they'll pack up the next day and they'll keep going on this trail.
Yep.
That sounds like a blast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Totally.
it sounds expensive as well, but it sounds like a blast. So we're definitely going to plan
have to
something in
invest in
the
gear.
summer
Yeah.
for Bentonville. So
We'll be there.
bike rack, we're going to hit you guys up, because that is a place that stood out to me. And maybe it's because you were passionate about the biking
That
aspect
dude was
of it.
cool there too, though.
But the beer was also good.
The beer was fantastic. The dude was cool.
Yeah, so a little bit of everything.
Yeah. A little bit of
Just-
everything.
made them stand out.
Yeah, they stood out for sure.
So there's one thing that you were kind of on the hunt for and we ended up kind of fizzling out. You saw these like big glasses. Like, what was
Yes.
up with that?
It's the VIP glasses, and we tried to get in the VIP club. Not really get in the club, but just there it is. He's got one. So yeah, I just and you're right. It fizzled out because when I first got there, I was like, okay, I need to set a goal. There's like I'm looking around. You know, like I said, competition. There's not a lot of competition happening up here at the beer festival. I got an idea. I just need to set a stretch goal for myself. I need to get one of those glasses that only VIP people get. So I had it in my mind at first, but really, I think we only took like 1 or 2 stabs at it, and then that was it. And then forgot about it. But yeah, it was a beautiful glass. Look at it.
I mean,
Who
it
wouldn't
would have been
want one?
cool. I mean, we got a little taster, which is great. It's got
Yeah.
a little logo on it. This was just like, honestly, it's the same style as a taster, just with a stem and just bigger. I liked the design, but do you know why I think this fizzled out? Because you ended up winning in the end when you found that little baby Jesus.
Little baby Jesus. All right. I brought it.
Did you really?
I knew he was going to come up. Yes.
So you got to
The
tell
real winner.
this a story here. This was so bizarre. I walked off to go get a beer. I come back and like you're yelling. There's some chicks next to
I'm
you that
yelling.
are yelling.
I'm just hyped up on it, huh? That's hilarious. I was yelling. But yeah, so we learned about. So I knew about the king cake. So let's just level set here. There's a thing called king cake. I knew about king cake because I've been to New Orleans, and my mom, you know, lives in New Orleans, so she's really big into the New Orleans traditions. But I didn't know the story behind the king cake. I just knew that there's a cake. It looks like this colorful thing. I don't think I've even eaten it before. And then there's a baby inside. Well, that's the only thing I knew about it. So. All right, now that I level set there, let me level set how I got a hold of this king cake.
Go ahead.
So we were at one of the booths, and we made it to the front, and we ordered a beer, and we're like, what beer do we want? And we got a beer, but we didn't get like their strong beer. They had like a stout, or they had literally a strong ale there.
Okay.
And it was like 12% alcohol.
Yeah.
But we didn't get it. But this drunk guy was back behind the tent, so I thought he worked for the brewery. And he was kind of calling us out. He's like, what? You ain't going to drink the strong ale? And he was, you know, he's a little, you could tell he's a little belligerent.
I mean, he was inebriated.
He was inebriated. That's the word I was looking for. He wasn't belligerent because he was still like, he was just having a good time, right? So I was like, oh, no, dude, I'm not trying to get that really strong beer right now. I've already drinking a few today. And
When there's 58 breweries, you
right,
have to pace yourself.
You got to pace yourself. You don't go for the strong ale. I didn't even go. I drank one stout and one porter that was lower alcohol. The rest of them, I tried to go for lighter beers so I could actually taste them and not get smashed or something. So anyways, I saw this guy back there. I thought he worked for the brewery, but then it turns out he was just being annoying and was just standing back there with them and talking to them. And you could, I could tell by the expression on their face. They were like, you know, like trying to make him leave.
Okay.
So then I'm like, okay, so we talked to him for a second. But then later on, I was in another line, and he came up and he was kind of acting a little drunk, and he was talking to these girls. And then I tried to give him a hard time, and I said, sir, no cutting, get in the back of the line. And I tried to like kind of rough him up a little bit. And then I was like, oh, I'm just messing with you, dude. You know, remember me? So he was really cool, and he was like laughing, and then he was like telling me about how he had this king cake that he bought for his wife, and she didn't want it. So he's like, do you want it? And I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll take it. So that's how I got the king cake.
Okay.
Because I met him another time and was giving him a hard time for cutting. And I guess he was probably talking to his wife, but she didn't want the cake. So then I held the cake for a while, and I was just holding it.
Okay, so I do remember him giving you the cake.
Yes, but
and
you
I remember
weren't.
you
Yeah.
being like suspicious because you're like, because it was just a plate with like some plastic wrap on
Yes,
it.
it looked like something that he brought from his house.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was like, you know, questioning, like, did you eat it? Did you open it? Like, what's the story behind this cake? And he's like, no, he didn't even touch it. Didn't even open it. It was just saran wrap on
Yeah.
it. So I was holding it for a while. And then, so that was like part 2. Part 1 was meeting the guy. Part 2 was getting the cake. Part 3 was about like a little bit later. I was just holding the cake forever. And then we went through a line and we got a beer. And then you were talking to the brewer there forever. And I remember you guys were chopping it up, and I backed up because you want to get out of the way because you're just standing in mud if you're not. So I backed up kind of by myself. And I was kind of putting off some loser vibes by myself.
Get out of here. Loser vibes.
You know, I'm standing over here by myself out in the open. So then I'm like, all right, I'm just going to eat this king cake. So then I start eating the king cake. Cracked it open. And then right away I saw the baby. You know what I mean? As soon as I opened it, I was like, oh, there's a little baby. I've heard about this, so I put it in my pocket.
So I got to get in the vibe because I'm sure I was talking to Matt from Celestial. So shout out Matt from Celestial. Those guys are awesome. But I'm sure that what happened. So when you opened it, you saw him immediately. So you just pull him out and go, oh, hey, the baby. Put him in your pocket. Like, did you say that out loud?
Maybe, but maybe I go, huh, and just went,
okay.
huh. But
right.
I definitely went and sucked the cake off of him before I put him in my pocket. But he was kind of buried, but you could still see him protruding from the cake. So I knew he was there.
Yeah.
And I was like, as soon as I opened it, I was like, oh, king cake. There's supposed to be a baby. Oh, there's the baby. Oh, this is cool. So I didn't think nothing of it, right? I didn't know any of the tradition of king cake. Apparently, it's a big deal if you get the baby. So
I mean, so what I did research, and apparently, so it's like king cake is like a bundt cake. Okay, that's the shape of it.
Okay.
And
Never
what they
seen a whole
do
one.
is you get one baby in the cake, you cut it into slices. So you get 12 to 15 slices, whatever it is, and then one person gets the baby.
Right.
You happen to be the one person that got the baby
I got the
out
baby.
of that cake. So
Boom.
it's supposed to be rare.
Right.
So 1 out of 12 or 1 out of however many slices. Yeah.
I was looking at it almost like the spider ring on the Halloween cupcake.
Oh, like everybody gets it.
Everybody got a little spider ring sitting on top. You just lick it off and you put it in your pocket like you're going to keep that spider ring. That's the way I treated it. So as I was eating it, these ladies were standing there over in the area, like I was in the loser area by myself, and then they came over there hanging out with each other, and then they noticed I was eating the cake, and they're like, "Is that king cake?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, it's king cake. This guy gave it to me." So I was telling them the story. And then they were like, maybe this is why I was yelling. I don't know. But they were like, oh, did you get the baby? And I was like, oh, yeah, matter of fact. And I was like digging in my pocket. And I pulled the baby out, and they were blown away. It was like I won first place at something. They were like, yeah. So that's how I realized that I actually stumbled upon something far greater than the glass that we were trying to aim for earlier. So you're right. That's probably why my pursuit for the glass stopped, because I got the bigger prize. Bing.
Right. So
there.
I'd say you were yelling. I think you guys. I just walked up and all y'all were cheering, out of
Cheering.
excitement.
Yeah, they were lifting me up in the air. Hip hip hooray! All over the king baby. So.
It's the sweet baby Jesus.
Literally, it came full circle, because it's funny, because even at that point I had no idea why there was a baby in the cake. I never asked that question. So you actually, when we were coming, I think it was the next day, right?
Yeah.
You pulled it up and looked at the tradition, and it is supposed to represent like Jesus.
Yeah. So for those that don't know, there is a thing known as King's Day. Which is when they kind of celebrate Mardi Gras. It kind of goes hand in hand, and that happens on January the 6th, 12 days after Christmas, which is apparently when the disciples came and actually gave the gifts to Jesus.
It wasn't disciples. It was...
No, not the disciples. The 3 wise men.
The wise men.
The 3 wise men
The
brought...
Magi, I think is what they're called, the Magi.
Yeah, so the 3 wise men brought the gifts to Jesus on January 6th, and that's what you're kind of celebrating, is that day of giving that gift. I'm assuming it's little sweet baby Jesus. I don't know if that's 100% true.
What other babies involved in the
You're
story?
Right. You're 100% right. What other babies involved? That's why I went
Yeah.
and it was like, I'm using context clues here.
Right.
I know it doesn't specifically say it's Jesus, but context clues says it's Jesus.
Yeah, there's a baby involved.
So
it came full circle. We're drinking regular Jesus. We got King Jesus sitting on top there. But ultimately, the tradition is whoever gets the baby is like the winner, the king for the night.
No, you get it's like good luck and prosperity.
Okay, good luck, prosperity.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, haven't had a flat tire since then.
I mean,
just
so far,
I'm seeing some
so far it's been good. I get it.
Yeah.
I'm right there with you.
I haven't bought any scratch offs or anything, but
I don't know if that's good luck or prosperity, but yeah.
Prosperity is like a financial thing, right?
I think it has to do with like good fortunes. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think like almost like if you get a lottery ticket and you win, then you hit both good luck and prosperity.
So our day was pretty eventful. Out, not just the breweries, not just Baby Jesus coming in and showing his face a little bit, but we're trying to leave this place.
Oh yeah.
And we pick up a hitchhiker.
Yeah. We pick up a local.
Like, I don't even understand how this, I don't even remember how this happened. I was like,
phone.
hey, Larry, you're going to have to drive because I'm not going to be, I feel like we're going to get stuck. And you are a lot more confident than I am when it comes to driving a Prius in the mud, apparently.
Yeah, I'm the kind of guy that sends it on the berm. So I was going to send your car through the mud.
It worked because the tiny little road that we were next to, we could do a tiny little 3-point turn in our tiny little car. It was no big deal there. I just remember driving off, and I guess was there a guy just walking next to the car? I don't even remember how he came up to the car. I just remember you saying, hey, where are you going? And he's like, I'm going here. He goes, cool, get in the car. Like, how did that all play out?
Dude, I don't remember. I was on the phone. I thought you had the conversation with him. All I remember is I got off the phone, and I was like, all right, where are we going?
I don't. So just hold on. So it sounds like some guy just got in our car for no reason at all.
Right, he did.
We didn't invite him in or anything. Come on, man. There has to be consent. In today's day and age, you have to consent to hitchhiking.
Well, we did consent to like being his Uber, so we like Ubered him around.
That's so.
But you know, if you're
going to
go to Arkansas, if you're going to go to Arkansas and you're going to engage in a beer festival, you have to engage with the locals. So we brought him in. We did our service. I was paying it forward for the cake that was given to us.
I got good luck or prosperity. I'm giving you good luck or prosperity. So that's the first time I've ever picked up a hitchhiker. Which, granted, I don't know if he was really hitchhiking, but I've never done that.
Like
before.
a modern day hitchhiker.
You ever picked up somebody just random like that before?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've done it many times.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like just some guy with his thumb out, or
no, not somebody with their thumb out, but like, you know, there's somebody. Hey, what's going on? Oh, you need a ride? Yeah, where are you going? Okay, I guess I can do that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I don't know. I can't think of a specific example.
I mean, it's never been a complete stranger. Anytime I've ever done it, it's always been somebody I at least like casually knew, maybe a coworker. Yeah. Something that I knew who they were. This guy did. I mean, I didn't know him from freaking Sam down the street.
Nah.
Like, I didn't know who the hell this guy was. So that was completely random.
He had a trusting face. He had a trusting face for sure.
Trusting face. Okay. Okay. And then I will say there was one thing on my end where I made a little bit of a mistake. Okay. We were trying to catch them all, and I was trying to keep up with your boy.
Yeah. Yep.
It didn't work.
Nope.
I would love to say that I had a puke and rally, but I didn't have the rally. It was just I got pretty sick that evening. Like, once we got to the hotel and we were hanging out, like, that night, the whole world started spinning.
Yeah.
Threw up a couple times, and I was okay, like, after I threw up a few. But, man, we were trying to pace ourselves, but I didn't pace myself enough.
No.
It sounds like if I do this again, I need to carry, no joke, I need to carry water with me. Like, I need to bring, like, a liter of water with me and just drink that as I'm going.
That would have been a good idea, even to have, like, the Camelback and just be sipping water the whole time. That's a great idea.
A Camelback would work, or even just, like, one of those, like, Nalgene bottles. Like, just get a carabiner and hook it up to your belt loop. Yeah. Like, just something. Something is better than nothing.
Yeah.
Like, looking back on it, I remember you reaching up and grabbing, like, a pitcher of water to clean out your glass. Probably would have been a good idea to grab that and fill that up just about every time we went to a place, because most of those guys had water. I wonder if
instead of just rinsing it out, drink it. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Like, there's a dude that's in the brew club that he's really good about going to breweries, and a lot of breweries will have, like, water stations.
Yeah.
Doing 1-to-1. Well, like, I'm going to have a beer, I'll make sure to drink a glass of water while I'm here as well. It helps with those hangovers.
Oh, yeah. Not even just a hangover. I'm just big on staying hydrated.
Like, just not getting hammered.
Well, I'm big on not getting hammered. but I'm also big on staying hydrated in general.
Yeah.
You know, like you're giving me a hard time for how much water I drink on the way and how I have to pee so many times on a road trip.
I say you have a tiny bladder. I know you do drink a lot of water, but I also feel like you have a tiny bladder.
Nah, dude, I got a great bladder. I know I have a great bladder because when I let it go, sometimes, dude, I could do like the world record piss. Right. I could do like a 5-minute piss. So I feel like that's a good bladder to, I mean, even like filling up water bottles, like I could fill up a couple of water bottles from one pee.
Right.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I would agree. Maybe you just drink more water than I actually
smash
realize.
Water, dude.
One thing that I would say that we kind of screwed up on as well is I got pretty drunk, like drunk enough that I wasn't driving, drunk enough that I couldn't sleep right because I got sick.
Right.
Next time we'll need to stay sober enough that we can go to a local brewery and get beer to go. We went out there and tried so many beers and came home empty-handed.
I know. That's the one thing that sucks. We didn't go to a brewery afterwards. We should have, but we just changed plans, and that homeless guy that threw a wrench in our plan. So, yeah, but, I mean, because we were pretty much done anyways. We're like, all right, let's just keep going back to the hotel.
Right. I mean,
it was
we had
lot.
plans before we went to go, hey, when this is done, it ends at 7. There's still time. Maybe we can go hit up a brewery and get beer to go.
Right.
Because I wanted to go back to Fossil Cove because I'll tell you, one of their beers stood out. I've been there once before, and I didn't have this one. They do a Birch Avenue Blonde.
Okay.
It's just a blonde, but it stood out in the sea of everything else that was there because it was good, traditional American blonde. They did what they advertised, and that sounds weird to say that that's what stood out. I know you had you had a brown ale, the La Brea, I want to say, the La Brea brown ale.
Oh, yeah.
How was that? I don't remember.
I'm not a big brown ale fan, but I don't remember it being bad.
It makes me wonder why. You chose it if you're not a fan.
I don't remember. I'm surprised you remember I got the brown ale. I probably just got it because it was unique. It was something different. You know what I mean? I was trying to try different beers.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, as long as it wasn't
good.
like high in ABV, then let's try it out.
Yeah, like I just didn't want anything. The high in ABV is not even just the alcohol. The strong ale was just the alcohol. Most of them, they're also full of sugar, and I'm like, I don't want a bunch of sugar.
Because if it's high in alcohol, it's gonna be sweet, and a lot of those,
sweet,
it was a lot of
thick.
Like imperial stouts.
Yeah, I didn't want anything imperial, and I didn't see a lot of other imperials outside of stouts. Like I didn't see like imperial blondes, imperial ales, things like that. Normally, I can get behind those, but.
Yeah, I don't know, because like if it doesn't have the additional adjuncts, it doesn't hide the alcohol. If the alcohol is strong in it, I'm just not a big fan.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you know what I'm saying, like an Imperial Blonde, like I think it's not Roaring Sun. It's there's with the lady on the front, like the Feisty Blonde, I think is what it's called. It's okay. I'm not a big fan of it.
Yeah, it is a yellow can.
Yeah, it's from Hop Fusion.
Yeah,
it's okay. It's not bad, but I mean, it's a high ABV blonde, and
yeah,
I'm like, it's
8%.
not. Yeah, it's not like my go-to. I mean, it's a good blonde. Like, don't get me wrong, but like I said,
it is pretty good. Does it have lemon in it? Why does? Oh, it's not. I always think that it looks like her eyes, instead of glasses, that it's lemons in her eyes. Yeah, doesn't it got like a lemon feel?
It does.
But it's honey vanilla blonde.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good beer. Like, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, it is pretty good.
But it's coming in at 8.27.
Beautiful color to it, too. Look at that.
Yeah, it's coming in at 8.2, though, and I'm just like, out of a blonde, I want something lighter. Yeah. I want like a 4.5 to 5% blonde. I don't want anything imperial, personally. I mean, obviously, this is one of their staples, so it sells. Like, I'm not saying that it won't sell. Yeah, it's just...
Their can, man, I don't know why that is throwing me off. It looks like some kind of lemon shandy.
It does, because of all the yellow.
All the yellow. It's just throwing me off. But I guess it's a blonde. She's supposed to be a blonde chick.
Right.
But her skin looks blonde. Like, not blonde, looks yellow.
Yellow. Like
her
skin's
skin's
got
yellow,
jaundice.
her glasses yellow. The whole thing's getting me a lemony vibe.
Yeah.
So.
If you were to have something like this and they call it a shandy, I mean, I could totally get behind that. It makes perfect sense to me.
Yep.
I wouldn't have a problem with that. It looks like they won a lot of awards on it. So
I've had it before.
Shout out to them.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not mad at it. Like, but this is the one thing I can compare and go. I don't always want 8%. Just like the Manhattan Project does their double Half-Life.
Yeah.
It's a good beer, but it's an 8% IPA, 8.5% IPA, and I'm like, I could taste the booze. If I could taste the booze, I'm like, I'm down. I'm not a fan. That's why a hot take.
Okay, let's hear it.
These craft beer lovers are gonna jump all over me, and that's fine.
Yep.
Barrel-aged beers are overrated.
I don't know if that's too much of a hot take. Maybe it was like we're just worn out on it, but because the beer itself that's really sugary and thick and sweet, I'm just blown out on, and that's when I think of barrel age. That's the vibes it's like bringing me back to that feeling of super sweet beer.
Right.
So yeah, I'm not a big barrel ager right now.
Like, it's boozy and rich.
Yeah, rich.
And
That's the word.
I don't always want something rich. That's why anytime we do, like, big events for the brew club, I'm bringing a couple of IPAs, I'm bringing a couple of lagers and blondes, and I'm sharing these because it'll help cleanse your palate a little bit, help break up the minutia, as they say. And it's, and I wonder if it's because 903 does a really good job, but we have it all the time.
Yeah.
It would be different if I was around a brewery that like only did lagers. I'd probably want some of that other stuff. But 903 does sweeter beers, and I think because that's available to us at all times, it makes us go, I want something different.
I guess kind of like that with IPAs. You know, everybody's big on IPAs forever, and then I just feel like I'm so tired of IPAs. But now I'm kind of liking some IPAs again. It's coming full circle.
It's coming full circle.
Yeah, it's coming in
It's
waves.
all coming full circle. So it sounds like Frostfest, thank you guys again for letting us.
You got to tell us your number one beer from Frostfest, though, before we go.
Oh, I don't know if I have a number one. There's two breweries that stood out, and I don't remember if I had a lager at each one. I remember Bike Rack had a really good beer, but we also talked to him for a moment, and then I want to say it was called Rendezvous.
Rendezvous was
I wonder if I had
one of the last ones we went to.
Yeah, I wonder if I had a lager there as well. Because for me, it was like what stood out, and I go, a lot of hoppy beers, a lot of IPAs. I did drink a few different stouts just because I like a stout when it's cold. That's just when in Rome. But I did like the hoppy Pilsner that I got from Celestial. But it might have been the lager from Bike Rack that if you're like putting me on the spot, it might be that lager from Bike Rack.
You got really excited about that one for sure.
It might have been him where I was like, dude, like, come on. Because I kind of geeked out for a moment, and I was like, I think it was him where I was like, you can really tell a good brewery by how good they do their lagers. Because you can do a stout all day. If you add a lot of adjuncts, it'll mask things that may be wrong with the beer. While with a lager, there's nothing to hide imperfections. It's either you did it right or you didn't. And I feel like it's like you're like sacking up and going, look at what I can do, and I can respect that out of a brewery. So
okay, nice.
I think that's what made me enjoy that as much as I did. Is it a lager just like any other lager that's good? It is, but it stood out amongst all of the noise. If I want to try to like make a metaphor here, stood out in all the noise of all the other beers that were out there.
Right. Nice. So, well, shout out to them. Shout
Bike
out
Rack
to
Lager.
Bike Rack. I know Fossil Cove, Bike Rack, that Rendezvous place, Celestial, of course. Like these are some of the places that we really enjoyed.
The Blue Owl.
The Blue Owl. I really enjoyed
the Blue Owl.
The Blue Owl just shocked me because that's the one beer I did not even care for. Sours, fruited beers, both of which I'm like, no. I don't.
Right.
For one, it doesn't taste like beer. But they blew me away with what they had.
Yeah.
So much that I'm like, next time I'm in Austin, I'm going there and I'm picking some of that up.
Yeah, I mean, I I've had some of their beers and they've always been good, but I like sours. I'm glad that beer wasn't too sour for you.
It wasn't.
Didn't give you heartburn.
Dude, it wasn't no heartburn at all. It's a problem, right? You got heartburn issues, right?
No, what I'm
You're
saying
unhealthy,
is
huh?
I've had an issue with some of the sours as of late, giving me acid reflux.
Yeah, me too. I'm not a big because of that for sure.
Yeah, and that's when they're too sour.
Yeah.
When you get a little bit of it, it's fine.
It might have been because it was the milkshake though. I don't know,
like
that
lactose?
that lactose or something
The little something.
I mean, when you think about magnesium or what do you drink for heartburn? I think you drink magnesium. I don't know. I'm trying to draw some correlations here. It's kind of a milk substance, so maybe lactose and Tums have something in common that it's settling your tummy as you're drinking that sour beer. But it was amazing. I want one right now, actually.
What it does is it cuts the acidity down.
There you go.
If you look at
That's a science.
just cooking, you add some cream and a little bit of lemon. Or if it's too acidic, you add some cream. It cuts the acidity. So same kind of vibe, I would think.
Yep.
Yeah, those guys were good. Norton's was good, but
Norton's
they're
great.
It didn't stand out, and I wonder if it's because I've had their stuff before.
Right.
That they didn't bring anything new to the table, in my opinion. You need to go, though, because last time I was there, I had a slow pour Czech Pilsner, and I'm telling you, the glass, the head was up here, just sitting above the glass. It was so light and airy. It took them a good 3 minutes to pour, because literally it's a slow pour.
Oh, wow.
It comes out slow.
3 minutes to pour a beer? That's insane. That's crazy.
Yeah,
they're dedicated to it.
I mean, that is one of the complaints, is that it takes a while to pour, just in general.
Who's
slow
complaining?
Pour.
Customers?
I'm not saying that they had complaints there specifically.
Yeah.
I'm saying as an overall, if somebody was to complain about that beer, they say, I don't like the slow pulls. It takes too long to pour. And I go, well, you gotta, it's high, it's like soda. What is it? It's highly carbonated. Yeah. Highly carbed. So you have to pour it slow in order to not just get full head.
Yeah.
And the head is so light and airy. It's weird. It's
for a
good.
bartender's perspective, I could see bartenders complaining more than a customer. Because you could be like, let me get one of those, and then you can wait 3 minutes for your beer. But a bartender, having to wait 3 minutes, dude, that's got to be the longest 3 minutes of your life.
I mean, I may be exaggerating when I said 3 minutes. That may be way longer than it really was.
That is forever.
I didn't time it by any means.
Even 1 minute seems like a long time.
Yeah, I mean, it was longer than a normal pour. Your normal pour is 12
look,
seconds.
There's the head right there. Is that the picture?
Yeah, this is the one that I did.
That was the beer you got?
Yeah.
It's got a nice round to it.
Yeah, it was bigger than that when he set it down, but yeah.
Yeah, it kind of died down a little bit. It's beautiful.
This was a phenomenal beer. Phenomenal beer. So there's some stuff that they do that they didn't bring. They brought whatever they wanted at this, and it was good. So yeah, I thought that they did a good job. But yeah, this is fun. I want to do this again. I enjoy hanging out with you, man.
Of course.
We hadn't hung out in a long time.
Of course, dude.
Like that. So
yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed that. We got to go to another one, even if it's not a beer fest. Maybe you can find some sort of mountain biking festival there.
Sure.
I mean, you're into it now, right?
Sure. The one thing that mountain biking and beer do go hand in hand. Usually at the end of a ride, they go and drink beer. It's like it's a tradition. You ride together as a group and you drink afterwards.
Really? I mean, it's like the anytime I go backpacking, I'm always going to carry beer with me.
Right.
At least just one. So that at the end of that first day,
it's beautiful.
You can have that beer because that beer tastes better than any other beer you had.
So
even
you
though it may
earned
not even be that good, but because you earned it.
You earned it, yeah.
And I wonder if that's why they do it at the end of a bike ride.
Yeah.
You earned this beer.
Yeah.
So it was good, and so was this Regular Jesus.
Jesus.
DuClaw did a really good job. I mean, it's exactly what it says it is. A porter that tastes like a porter.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to the north.
Porter.
Shout out to I think Maryland's in Northeast.
Baltimore, yep. It's over there in the Northeast.
Shout out to Northeast.
Shout out to those guys. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and Untappd, and it's at _dudes and brews. Appreciate you guys, and we're out of here.
Peace.
We appreciate you guys tuning in for another episode of Dudes and Brews. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever platform you're on, we're on there. We have a YouTube channel, Dudes and Brews. We would love if you would subscribe there as well. If you are subscribed and you want to help us out just a little more, unsubscribe and resubscribe again. It sounds funny and stupid and kind of obnoxious, all of the subscribing and resubscribing and stuff, but it helps in these little algorithms games for like climbing the charts, because again, we are organic and we are where we are because of you guys.
Yeah, we really do appreciate your support. Shout us out. We really do love it when you guys interact with us, when you add us, mention us, put us on your stories, tag us, all that fun stuff, all the stuff the kids are doing. We like grabbing that stuff and we put it up for you guys. So we appreciate you so much. Keep having fun, drinking them brews, hanging with them dudes. Tune in next week for another episode of Dudes and Brews.